Welcome to Fork in the Loaf. My name is Heather, and today I am going to be starting day 1, week 2 of my lunches. It is now November 1st, so it's taken me a minute to get done with that first week, and I was so tired, and then I just kind of almost had a little bit of burnout, so it took me a minute to be able to get, my daughter got married, I started my new job, I was tired, so all that's all done now. And I can focus a little bit more. I have a little bit more time. I'm not quite as tired. So today for my lunch, for tomorrow actually, this is a stir fry that I did. It's got bok choy, red peppers, some celery, a little bit of green onion, and then this is like a Korean, they're the bean sprouts, and it's a sesame bean sprout. I love this stuff, so I just combined that all into one container. Have you ever heard that saying, two vegetables in a soup? I don't love soup, but I'm trying to get at least 2 vegetables in. So that is my vegetables. I'll still have some celery. My main course tomorrow, I'm gonna have a chaffle, and I'm just gonna use a basic cheese chaffle. I do have one, all those zucchinis, I had a bunch of large zucchinis, and so I dehydrated it and powdered it, and it acts a lot like coconut flour. So I will make my chaffle sometimes with this, just to kind of add that extra vegetable to it. For today's chaffle, I'm kind of going to be making kind of like a Reuben. I don't have corned beef, but I do have some pastrami. And I'm just going to take 1 egg, about a half a cup of cheese, and then I'm going to take, this is some of my homemade everything bagel seasoning mix, and I am going to put in probably about a half of a teaspoon-ish, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. I can put a little bit more. About a half a teaspoon. And I'm just going to mix that in here. And then once I get this really good and mixed, I'm going to put this into my already heated Dash mini waffle makers. I love these things. They're like 10 bucks each. And my favorite thing about them is they're like the perfect sandwich size. They're like the size of a bagel, the size of a large English muffin. I mean, I love the size of them. So I am going to, and I use these things almost every day. So sometimes twice a day. I'm just going to try and split this in half by eyeballing it. And then I will close this and they will spread out. I'm going to go set a timer for 4 minutes. Okay, so while this is cooking away, I want to make I got some mayonnaise in here, and then I've got this Primal Kitchen classic barbecue sauce. I really kind of like this stuff, and it's kind of got it's like a very savory barbecue sauce, not a sweet barbecue sauce. So I've got a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise. I'm going to put probably about a tablespoon of this in there, and this has, in 2 tablespoons, it has 3 carbs. So I'm putting 1 tablespoon in here with a tablespoon or 2 of mayonnaise, and I'm just going to stir that up. That's going to be kind of like the base to my Thousand Island dressing. And I'm really keeping it super simple because that's how I work. And I kind of like this flavor profile a lot with this everything bagel seasoning. So here's some dill pickles that I canned a while back. And I'm going to just take a little bit of it. Ooh. And I'm going to slice it small. I don't want too big of chunks because it's got to get on a sandwich. And no, they're not super crispy, but it's okay. I don't usually eat my pickles alone. I usually eat them in things. So not having super crispy pickles, it's not super important to me. Everybody seems to love my dill pickles just fine. Trying to get this as fine as I can. I don't think I'm going to need all of that dill pickle, so I put in about a tablespoon, and the reason why, I'll show you just in a sec. So here are my 2 chaffles. Aren't those kind of lovely? Now, because I do this quite often, I'm going to keep the pre-chopped stuff and just kind of keep it in my fridge so that next time I want to do, especially the sauce, that sauce is so good. It's not exactly Thousand Island dressing, but I'm really okay with it. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of the Primal Kitchen barbecue sauce, and then a tablespoon of finely diced dill pickles. And then this is homemade sauerkraut. You can use any kind of sauerkraut, I'm sure. And I'm gonna just take out probably a tablespoon or 2 of that, because what is a Reuben without sauerkraut, right? And I'm gonna mix it in the sauce. It kind of helps hold it all together. And there's my sauce. So now that I have my chaffles done, my sauce done, I've got some pastrami handy, I am going to put my sauce on my chaffle, and I'm gonna put it on both sides because I really want all those veggies. I really want all the, especially all the sauerkraut that I have on there with all that fermented goodness. And because I'm not cooking it, I'm not killing any of the ferment. And normally I would put a slice of cheese on here, but we are currently out of Havarti, which is my favorite. I don't like Swiss cheese. You can definitely put Swiss cheese on here. And honestly, I think there's plenty of Swiss cheese in the, or plenty of cheese in the chaffle. And then I'm going to put on a couple slices of pastrami. And I could put lettuce and tomato and all that stuff, but that's not really typical Reuben. So this is a beautiful, low-carb, delicious Reuben. One of my all-time favorite keto lunches, I guess. I'm gonna wrap it in paper because it's gonna be really messy with all that sauce. But I'm gonna keep it in a bag, which I don't have to put it in a bag. I just think it's easier for transport. So I've got all my vegetables in here. I have my sandwich that does have some sauerkraut on it and some dill pickle. I'm gonna take celery sticks and peanut butter. I try to eat at least 2 or 3 celery sticks a day. And yes, I've got more than that in here, but it's kept cold the entire time. So whatever I don't eat today, I will just have ready for tomorrow. Kind of like pre-prepping my food. What is that called? Anyway, it's kind of like doing that just on a small scale. I am not one that can do that. What is that called, darn it? Where you do all this pre-cut up everything and freezer meals and all that. I can't do that because I forget that they exist and then they all go bad. Let's just do a quick walkthrough of what I've got going on. So I have my leftover veggies from dinner. I have my Reuben, my keto Reuben. I have some red pepper slices. I have some celery sticks, and I have some peanut butter. That is really more lunch than I'm gonna be able to eat tomorrow. However, having that extra stuff to munch on, it kind of helps in moments where I would choose to go eat something from the lunchroom that's not good for me. So I'm gonna make sure I have a backup plan, even if that backup plan sits in my fridge till tomorrow or the next day. So there is day 1, week 1 of my keto lunches, and I will see you tomorrow. Hi there. Okay, so for today's lunch, I'm gonna do a cucumber salad, and I made some of this the other night. I do my ranch, and then I add some tomatillo, cilantro, lime juice, and jalapenos. So it gives it's more like a lime cilantro ranch dressing. And so I'm gonna add some of that to this, and this is gonna be one of my vegetables. And I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing to where it looks like once I toss this, that it's going to coat it all. Kind of like that. And then with this, it's just a basic, simple, easy cucumber salad. And it's low carb, nutrient dense. It's got good, healthy. I use my milk kefir. I use homemade mayonnaise and a milk kefir in here instead of sour cream. Sour cream is good too, but it's a raw A2 homegrown or locally milked kefir. And so I've got some probiotics in here. There is the cucumber, which is an English cucumber, and I like to peel them because the skins can be bitter sometimes. I just don't like the skin. I have a really hard time with cucumbers, but I really like the English cucumbers because they're not as bitter. So I will take one of these as my lunch tomorrow, and I'm going to throw one in for my husband's lunch as well. So that will be one of my vegetables for tomorrow. Another thing that I want to make is a chia pudding. I love chia pudding. And I want to do a pumpkin chia pudding. And I cooked up some pumpkin in my Instant Pot. And then it's been in the refrigerator overnight. And so I just need to peel the pumpkin off of the skin. And really, my understanding, and I watched somebody else do this, and I can't remember which YouTube channel it was, but they actually steamed the pumpkin in their Instant Pot so that they could just blend the skins in with it. I'm kind of not brave enough to do that yet. It's something that we have always done, is taken it off the skin. And I'm just not quite there yet where I feel like I can add the skin to it. Okay, so to do this chia pudding, I'm going to use a jar. I like the wide mouth because I can fit my stick blender in it. And I'm going to use the macadamia nut milk because it doesn't have any carbs in it. I mean, there's like 0 carb, less than a gram of carbs in 8 fluid ounces. And milk is high in carb. And the only time I usually eat milk is if it is fermented somehow, like cheese, cultured somehow. So for this particular dish, I'm going to use the macadamia nut milk. And I'm going to go roughly 3/4 of a cup, maybe a half a cup, because I'm also going to add some pumpkin to it, which is going to be a form of liquid. I'm not going to add all of this though. I think I'm only going to add about half of this, which is about 1/4 cup, I would guess. We can measure. So here's my 1/4 cup measuring cup, and I'm thinking 1/4 cup. And it's a slightly less than 1/4 cup, but it doesn't have to be perfect for this. So I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of pumpkin. Okay, so I got my pumpkin and my milk in here. I have chia seeds in here, but I don't want to use the chia seeds yet. I want to take some of my pumpkin pie spice, and I'm really going to do it to taste because I love pumpkin pie spice. So I don't mind it being a little bit heavy. You might not like as much as I do. This right here is a new favorite find. It's cake batter flavoring, and the only problem that I have with it is it has food colorings in it, but I really don't use a lot of it. I don't even use like 1/4 teaspoon. Oh, see, I'm glad I do it that way. So I'm going to pour just a little bit in there and try not to make a mess. I have monk fruit. I keep it in jars because the bag, it just kind of makes a big mess with the bag. So I always put my sweeteners in a jar, or my powdered stuff in jars. And I don't even use the full. So like if you see it has this little, it's like a 1/32 measuring spoon. I don't even use the full thing. And now before I add my chia seeds to this, I'm gonna stick blend this because I want to puree that pumpkin in there with everything. So here you'll see me blending the pumpkin with the milk and the spices and the sweetener. There's very little fat in here, so what you're going to end up with is not having any of the spices actually blend in. Then I'm going to mix in all of my chia seeds, and by tomorrow that'll be a beautiful pudding. So I think I just made this chaffle here and thought I was recording, and I don't think I recorded any of it, so oops. So in here, I have the 1 egg, the 1/2 cup of mozzarella cheese this time, and then about a 1/4 teaspoon-ish of my everything bagel seasoning. And I'm gonna make a sandwich for tomorrow with this. This is my cracked chicken that I made in my Instant Pot the other day. It's got 2 chicken breasts, 8 ounces of cream cheese, a little bit of the broth from the meat, cheese, green onions, bacon bits, and I'm going to use that as a sandwich filler. And I'm going to use some lettuce in there as well. I've got to get more vegetables in my diet somehow, so I'm trying to incorporate more and more. So I've got pumpkin in my chia seeds. I've got cucumbers. I'm going to have a lot of lettuce on there. I don't know about you guys, but incorporating more and more vegetables is probably the hardest part for me. Sometimes I can do great vegetable intake, and sometimes, especially my lunches, I can't. I don't know why. So there's my chaffles. Hot, hot, hot. So I'm going to let these sit here and cool off for just a little bit, and I'll be back in a few minutes to assemble them with you. All right, so I always like to put my sandwiches in a paper because I like to use these reusable things, and I don't like to have to clean them out really good. I just want to be able to wipe them out good. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this stuff out. It's pretty thick. I could probably add a liquid to it, but I kind of want it to be on the drier side. Not way too much. There's not going to be enough for anything else. Excuse my fingers, it's my sandwich. All right, so I've got my meat on there. I'm just going to throw on a couple leaves of lettuce. And everything is cold, so it should all just be fine tomorrow. But I do want quite a bit of lettuce on there for tomorrow. I could probably put tomato. I've got avocados, but they're not ripe yet. I'm going to keep it fairly simple. I think for the sake of wrapping, I might just do a little bit of maneuvering here. Maybe I can wrap it better now. It's going to be a fun sandwich. Look, my paper barely closes. So now I'll wrap it in the paper. I will put it in here. So now I have a main course with protein, healthy fats. I've got my cucumber salad with healthy fats. I've got my chia pudding that I'm going to put blueberries onto in the morning. And a couple of eggs in case I get hungry. I don't think I'll be able to eat all of this food. So some of it might be left over for my tomorrow lunch. But that is my lunch for today, and I will see you tomorrow. So today's day 3 of week 2. My husband made some egg salad. It's just eggs, mayonnaise, mustard, and I think he uses seasonal salt, and it's kind of delicious. It kind of reminds me of the egg, what are those egg treats called? The deviled eggs. It kind of reminds me of those. And I'm going to just do them in a lettuce wrap, and I don't want to put them together because the lettuce will be very, very soggy if I put them together tonight for tomorrow. And I figure I will probably need, I don't know, maybe 4 leaves. That should be good. And I'm going to wrap these in paper towel because I don't know if you know, keeping wet lettuce is actually, will make it sog out faster. So I'm just going to wrap them in a paper towel. Maybe I'll just cut that little end off, save that for salad. I'll just put them in one of these handy dandy reusable plastic bags, and I put them in the plastic. I wrap them in paper partly to keep the plastic things clean because they're kind of not very fun to wash, but you know, you still got to clean them out. I just try not to put too dirty of stuff in here, like stuff that's going to really add a lot of bacteria stuff to it. I have discovered this great love for red peppers. And it took me years to like peppers. But I think this is something that if the lettuce is boring enough, I think just using that to scoop some of the egg salad would be yummy, and really just eating it as a snack. I don't even need ranch for these because they're so good. Or anything. I just love them. And it took me years to like peppers. I tried for years and years and years. I used to admire those people that would just sit there and munch on peppers. I used to watch this lady eat peppers all the time, and I thought they sound good, they look good. I just couldn't get past the taste. And now finally, decades later, I found a love for red peppers. I don't really care for green peppers, but man, I can eat red peppers like that. So I'm gonna make these kind of thick so I can use them kind of like a scoop if I need to for that. Normally I like to make them thin if I'm going to use them as a munchie for with ranch, but because I'm going to use them as a scoop for my egg salad, I'm just going to make them kind of thick so that I have a little bit of that spoon to pull them out. I kind of feel like that's going to be plenty of food. I really only eat once while I'm there, and I usually eat probably between 11:30 and 1 somewhere, and so by the time I get off work at 3:30, I come home and I can always have a snack then, or I can just wait till dinner time. So I think that will be plenty for tomorrow. Today's day 4 of week 2. I don't get to eat a lot of eggs, so I decided to do an omelet in a jar for tomorrow's lunch. For the protein, I'm going to use these, they're chicken, fully cooked smoked mozzarella with artichokes and garlic chicken sausage. There is 2 carbs in 1 link. One of the carbs is fiber, so there's only 1 carb per link. I like that I can read all the ingredients on there. At least I understand what they are. They're not like the grass-fed. I had some of those grass-fed kielbasa, and I had 1 link left, and I think I let it sit too long. So instead of using that today, I'm going to be using this today, which is fine. So if you've never had an omelet in a jar, it's really whatever you like to put in your omelets. I'm not really a big fan of omelets because I feel like they get too brown. And with my awful stove, I have a hard time keeping a low heat. So I gotta be grateful for my stove. I'm really grateful that I have a stove. And I'm gonna cut them kind of small because I gotta fit quite a bit into there. And I'm gonna use this whole link because I want the macros or micros or whatever it is that you're looking for in these. I like the all the protein in it, and it's only 1 carb. So there's no reason I can't just use the whole thing. And then I've got some red pepper here and left over from yesterday's lunch. I just cut them up a little thinner, and I'm just going to dice them into smaller pieces. I don't think I want to use all of this though. We'll see. Maybe. And I think I just want to put just like a little bit. I have some previously cut green onions, and I just want a little bit of that. I don't do well with a lot of onion. And then let me get this put away. All right, and then this is, I think it's Nu Choy or A Choy. I'm not quite sure. I got it at the Asian market. It's an Asian lettuce, Chinese lettuce, something like that. But it's delicious. It's in the bok choy family from what I understand. So I'm going to, and it's tasty. I love the flavor. My dog is going crazy out there. I love the flavor. And I love that it's a dark green leafy. So I'm going to put all of that in there. I've noticed that a lot of your greens really kind of taste all the same. Some are milder, some are more bitter. These are just pleasant. They're nice. So I've got my protein. I've got some red and green vegetables in there. And tomorrow morning, oops, I forgot something more. Very important, cheese. If you don't do dairy, you don't have to do cheese. You can use a dairy-free cheese. This is definitely not something that I can think of you can do vegan. I think omelet is not vegan at all. All right, so I'm gonna put a cap on it. So I've got sausage, red pepper, the A Choy or Nu Choy, I can't remember what it's called, and this little bit of green onion and cheese. And that's gonna be my omelet for tomorrow. And then when I get up in the morning to pack it, to take it to lunch, I'm gonna crack 2 eggs into here, cap it, put it in my cooler box that the little ice pack box, and I'm gonna take it to work, stick it in my fridge at work, and it'll stay cold until I'm ready to eat it. And then when I'm ready to eat it, I can shake it up, stick it in my microwave for 3 minutes, and then I have a hot omelet in a jar. You can also add a teaspoon or a tablespoon of heavy cream if you like to this, but I've noticed sometimes with cream, it'll leave wet. It's too wet, and I don't really like slimy eggs too much. I do love soft yolks, but I don't love slimy egg whites. And to me, it feels like it leaves it kind of slimy, you know, like that. So I don't often put heavy cream or any sort of dairy type stuff in there like that. So it's just the egg and all of this. You can put seasonings in here. I'm not a fan of garlic and eggs too much, but I know there's a little garlic in the sausage. Just stupid picky things like that. So it's your omelet. Eat it how you want to eat it. This is a pint-sized wide mouth. I like it because it's easier to clean out. When you do this, it is going to create mess that's kind of hard to clean on the edges of your jar. So having something like a wide mouth pint-sized jar makes it easier for cleanup. So this is day 4. Oh yes, and I have a giant strawberry and some blueberries. I think berries are really good for you. I like the antioxidants and the other benefits that come. It's about the only fruit I get to eat. So when I can, I try to have some fruit. Oh yeah, whoops. Seasonings, talking about seasonings. I love, this is a salsa verde. I love salsa verde, so I am gonna put some of this in here, and I'm just gonna eyeball how much I would normally put on my omelet. I can take half an avocado to work and put that in here after it's cooked. And I have a very good, healthy, vegetable-rich, nutrient-dense lunch for tomorrow. So there is my day 4, and I will see you tomorrow for day 5. Okay, so today is day 5, week 2 of my lunches. I do the keto, I am on the keto diet. I think I already told you that in the very beginning. I kind of make it look so ugly. And I think part of it is just, I'm so afraid that I'm gonna go back to eating how I normally, that it's not sustainable. So I hate to admit that I'm on the diet like this, but I am. And I'm loving how I feel. I'm loving how I'm feeling health-wise. I've lost a little bit of weight. I feel good. So, I mean, if that's what it's gonna bring to my world, I'm all for it. So in here I have, you know, I could weigh this to find out how much this is, but it's about 2 tablespoons-ish of cream cheese, maybe an ounce-ish. And I'm just gonna take some of this homemade everything bagel seasoning, and I am going to put a lot on there. Probably close to a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. And then I got a spoon, I'm just gonna mix that up. And I did soften it a little bit in the microwave just so that I could mix it. One of my favorite things with my lunches at work is being able to sit at my desk and eat and not have to get up and go to the microwave or get up and go and do all that stuff, because I'm constantly answering phones, or I'm the registrar at an elementary school. And so leaving the desk is kind of hard, or, you know, we have the doors locked, so you have to have us buzz you in, kind of a thing. And so if we're not there, it can be kind of difficult for parents. So I just have everything bagel seasoning and cream cheese in here, and I just took a taste of it, and now I'm going to add just a little bit more. I know it will absorb some of those flavors too, so I'm just adding a little bit, but it's delicious. So I'm going to take that. So I've got the cream cheese with everything bagel. I have some celery sticks, some red peppers, and some, what are these, sugar snap peas? Sounds kind of gross. Some sugar snap peas. I like these, but I don't love the strings in them, so sometimes and if they get woody, I don't really like them. But I think dipped in that cream cheese stuff, it's gonna be fabulous. And then with that, I'm just gonna take a couple of boiled eggs. So I do a bunch in the Instant Pot, and that way I have them on hand. I got giant ones and I got little ones. I have 3 white leghorns that lay me white shelled eggs, and I think one of them is not a leghorn. I think it's something else. So it lays very small eggs. So that will be my lunch for tomorrow. I will probably, I'll take my Zip Fizz in the morning. I always have a Zip Fizz pretty much every single morning. And I'm trying to incorporate more vegetables, make sure I have a little bit of protein. I'm trying to keep it as clean and whole as possible. And so this should tide me over till I get home for dinner. Thank you for joining me on this adventure of a fork in the loaf. If you like the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share with your friends on social media. I will be doing week 3, hopefully a little bit sooner than I did week 2 from the first one. If you like these videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click the bell notifications to get notified when I get new videos, and share with your friends. And I will try to get week 3 done within the next week or 2, and I will see you then.